what are the strategies that you use to recruit the best people for these clients so that they have an assurance, like if I work with Harry, not only is he named after a god, he's going to bring me people that are the top talent.
So our SOPs, our internal SOPs are designed such that we find the best of the talent. We find the talent which comes with the experience that you need, and they comes with the softer skills that any position requires. Our entire selection process has, I've got our recruiters, the 400 odd recruiters that you're talking about. They've recruited hundreds and thousands of people over their career, and their experience itself speaks volumes when it comes to the quality of candidates that we provide.
And now the man you've been waiting for, John, the sales machine, Rankins.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's guest is a trailblazing leader in the workforce solution space. This guy is an incredible man. His name is Hariom Khandelwal, and guess what? He's named after a god. He's literally an amazing man. I mean, he started out his career humbly as a recruitment officer, and he migrated from India, where he was recruiting people from all over the world, supplying them to United States companies, and he migrated to the Philippines. And after having been here for 10 years, he literally has, in the last 10 years, provided 40,000 people with opportunity around the world, getting them jobs. He literally has created workforce solutions where they provide direct hire to companies all over the world. They focus on Fortune 100. Companies like JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, HSBC, Sun Life, Accenture, IBM. We're talking tech, BPOs, healthcare. Believe me, if there's a company out there in the top 100, he's found them direct hires. They also supply people with contract employees called employees of record and workforce outsourcing. He's built the company to well over $10 million a year. And he's here on the podcast today to show you how you can take your organization to the next level, and not only take it to the next level, but make it sustainable and scalable. Let's welcome him to the show. Welcome, Harry.
Thank you, John. Thank you for having me.
Hey, man, it's an honor. And I love how, because, I migrated from all over the world, and I've literally set up shop and opened 7 different companies in 7 different countries around the world, literally. So I started out my career, the United States, opened my first business. Then I went to Bombay, India, before it was called Mumbai. Then I went to the Philippines, Manila, Singapore, Indonesia, even Venezuela. Mm-hmm. And from there, I started, outsourcing my own consulting all over the world to help companies scale. And that's why I'm excited to have you on the show. Tell me about your journey from going to, a humble recruiter to now you're the country head of Nezda Global that's helping Fortune 100 companies all over the world. Tell me about that.
So, John, I started as a recruiter, like you mentioned during my introduction. I started as a recruiter. We used to make calls in the United States, sitting in one of the back offices in India, trying to find jobs for people, contractual employees for our client. Back then, we used to recruit for Bank of America. Did that for about a few months, grew up the ladder, became a manager in the same organization. Then was given an opportunity to come to Philippines. At that point in time, my employer was looking to open up an office in Philippines. They were looking at it as another support office that could do similar work that we used to do back in India. I came here, got relocated, started that from ground zero up. Did that for about 2 years. Was able to bring it to a size and scale where it had its own identity. This entire office, the entire operations, could be called as an independent operations. And that was a time I tried to make a switch from being a part of the outsourced business to a part of the local Philippines business, because I wanted to understand the flavor and nuances of how things function in the Philippines, because I've been living here So that was the time I moved to the local business, did that for about 2 years, and then I moved on to Nezda, which is what I do right now. And it's been an incredible journey for the last 6 years. We've been doing some great work. I've got a great team. I was blessed to have right set of people by my side, and that's what made us do all that we've done. Some 40,000 odd placements, finding jobs for people working for about Fortune 100 companies. All the big names and logos that we see driving around, Makati, BGC, Ortigas, I guess, if not all, majority of them are our clients by now.
Yeah, that's amazing. Recruiting 40,000 people in 6 years. Amazing. And now I know you have over 400 people on staff. Yes. And tell me about the journey, how you went from not only becoming, an expert recruiter and a supplier of talent, but how did you get into like the workforce solutions aspect and going into then the contract workers?
So this has a story, John. We had a client back in 2019. They wanted to open up an office in Philippines, and we were in a consultation mode. We were trying to help them find the place where they should open up an office, because it's not just getting an office; it's getting the talent that can fill in that office. So we came in as a consultant. I was working closely with their C-suite executives in the US, in the United States, talking to them about various locations where they can open, the kind of profiles that they want to hire, where should they be opening it up. So we did that for about a few months, and then came the pandemic. So we had to put all those plans on a temporary stop. But then we resumed right after the pandemic, and we helped them fill, with all the process that went through. We helped them fill the first 1,500 seats for their office in the first 8 months' time. Now, during that entire process, it was not just us finding talent for them. It was also us designing policies and processes and SOPs for attracting talent, for recruiting talent, and for retaining talent, and for training the talent. Having done all of that for them in a matter of 8 months gave us a lot of assurance in our capability. And at the same point in time, it helped us identify an opportunity in the market, that if you could do it for this one company and one organization, we better do it for a lot of them. Why not make it a business for us to help companies? It could be large conglomerates, multinationals, enterprise level organizations, or it could be medium and small companies who wants to unlock the talent and get the talent, who wants to utilize the expertise of the talent available in the Philippines. So we started with workforce outsourcing. This is what this is what we do here. What we typically do is find organizations outside of the Philippines with expensive labor market to come and open up and find talent in the Philippines. We help them with the IT. We help them with recruitment. We help them with office infrastructure. We help them designing policies and processes without them to have an office or an entity here in Philippines.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm from the United States, and, there's a tax for everything. Like when I opened my first business, like in California, there's a head tax. There's workman's compensation. There's medical insurance. You are taxed on so many different things that by the time, you're done paying the team, unless you scale, there's very little coming back, like margin. So what can a typical company, as an example in the United States, about what percentage can they save in amount of money? What is the percentage they can save by transferring workforce to Philippines?
I have got case studies where employers have been able to save up to easily about 55 to 60%. In few cases, it can go as high as 70% of cost saving. So if you're spending, let's say, $100,000 for hiring one headcount for a particular skill in California, you could hire that same talent in Philippines with an entirely loaded cost of about $30,000. So that's the cost difference we're talking about, and that's huge.
Yeah, and I've lived here since 2010. I actually came here in 1990. well, 1988, I used to poke holes I was on a nuclear powered submarine for 4 years, right? It was kind of crazy. Anyway, I was here for 3 days, and then, I came back in 1994. The place is just crazy, the evolution of the talent. And that's why I love the Philippines. It's really the Filipinos. They're just so loving. They work really hard. And that's why the number one revenue generator for the Philippines is actually overseas foreign workers. Literally billions of dollars, because they go abroad and they can make more money, right? And now you're flipping it and using that talent for foreign companies to come in here, right? And so I have a lot of, colleagues and a following in the United States. So what are the typical obstacles and the problems you solve, foreign-owned entities, to actually set up business here? How long does it take? Typically with, the normal bureaucracy of setting up a company, how much do they have to invest? How many, do they have to get lawyers? What do they have to do to actually normally, and what would the cost be if they did it on their own?
See, John, if you look at it, if I was a business owner in the United States, and if I want to open up a company here in Philippines, I typically have to spend at least $200,000 as a paid up capital for opening up an entity or opening up a company in the Philippines. That's just one. This is where it gets started. You have to pay for a lawyer who would help you through the entire process of opening up a company. You have to go through various departments that will give you clearances for you to open up a company. You would have to go through the entire hassle of then, let's say, give or take, it might take somewhere between 6 to 9 months for you to open up one entity here. Once you're able to do that, there is an entirely bigger challenge that you have to go through. That is the compliance. You have to go through the regulations of the internal revenue. You have to go through the regulations of fire safety. You have to go through the regulations of Department of Labor. You have to go through the regulations of your local barangay, local government units, and all of that takes time, effort, energy, and money. Why would one want to go through all of that when there is someone like us? We could be one. There are many others like us who help you do all of that without you getting involved. We can help you find the people. Day one, it takes about 15 days for us to find those people for you. Within 15 days, you get started and you don't have to worry about anything. You just have to pay for that one individual that is working for you, and you avoid the hassle of going through the entire process.
Yeah, I got like 8 to 10 different certificates on my wall outside. And, never have I seen so much compliance ever in my life, not even in the United States. You get a tax ID number, you set up an S Corp, and you get a business permit, and you're ready to rock and roll. Here, there's a lot of compliance. Now, the benefit, though, is companies can save 55 to 60% and run an efficient operation. Like you said, you don't just do the recruitment, you actually get involved in the training and setting up training systems and roll out an entire operation for them.
So we take care of rolling out the entire operations, but we don't take care of the deliverables. Just like, let's say, if me being a business owner in the United States, and if I were to open up my own office, I would have to directly manage those employees, or I will have to hire someone locally to manage those employees, or I would have to send someone from United States to come to Philippines and manage those employees. So in our model, it doesn't change. We provide you the infrastructure, we provide you the people, we provide you the SOPs, we provide you the trainings, but you will have to find someone, or you will have to employ or send someone from the United States to manage those employees. That's the only aspect, and that has its own benefits if you were to look at it. It gives you a direct control and supervision over the employees that are working for you. It helps you create tighter policies, manage and maintain productivity and daily efficiency of the people. So in my opinion, it works in the favor of the employer and the end employer rather than working against them.
To take that to the next level, like I've traveled all over the world, and I ran masterminds, I run my own company, I've run my own company for 30 years, and I have a lot of partnership companies in America. And a big deal is actually virtual assistants, right? Virtual personal assistants, especially, in the United States. It's a big thing. I literally know 10 different individuals who that's their business in the United States. And that's all they do is they provide companies in the United States with virtual assistants of the Philippines. Mm-hmm. Big business. You're saying you provide them the entire infrastructure of having a business here, and they just have to get somebody to run it.
Yes.
Beautiful. And typically, it would cost them at least $200,000, and that's paid up capital. Right. Plus, it's going to cost them another $50,000, so they're looking at $250,000 to set up a business.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. You can do it for them. Typically, what would it cost them working with you?
Let's say, let's break it down. Let's say you run the sales machine in the Philippines. Now, imagine if you were to run the sales machine sitting out there in the United States, and if you want to hire a team in the Philippines, you have to go through that entire process, right? How much would that cost if you associate with Nezda? Is you get a couple of salespeople to run on ground and push your product to the market. You need a couple of digital marketing folks who can market the sales machine across various social media channels. You would need a couple of back-end folks who could do your expense management, who could run your entire accounting function and your finance function. All of that in the United States put together, I guess, would cost you a combined cost of about give or take about $1.5 million every year. Outsource that to Philippines, you get it done within about $300,000 dollars, or about $400,000. That's what it costs you. That's the cost difference you're talking about. Now, how much would an employer or a company have to pay us to do the job? So our cost is like a loaded cost that includes the cost of infrastructure, the cost of the salary, benefits of the people that we are hiring. So it's just one cost that you pay every month. That's it.
Yeah, and literally, they don't have to worry about compliance. It's just all under your umbrella.
We take care of it. We take care of all compliances when it comes to the regulations of internal revenue, regulations of Department of Labor, the local government units regulations, making sure that people are employable. I'll give you an example. There is as simple as for cities like Makati, and I'm not sure if it is applicable to other local government units in the Philippines. An employee who has to work in Makati every year has to get a medical clearance that he can work in the city of Makati. A lot of employers do not even know about it, and then they get non-compliant by not doing it. So even of the smallest of the compliances and the nuances of local labor laws, the local laws, we take care of it. We make sure that we abide by it 100%, and that's what gives us an edge.
Yeah. And so what are the strategies that you use to recruit the best people for these clients so that they have an assurance? Like if I work with Harry, not only is he named after a god, but he's gonna bring me people that are the top talent.
So our legacy business is recruitment, John. Like you mentioned, we've been able to hire 40,000 people for so many different companies, Fortune 100 companies. Now, if we are able to hire those people for Fortune 100 companies, and you've listed down the clients in the BFSI sector, the banking and financial services sector that we've recruited for, and these are the companies who are very strict with their recruitment process, with their selection process. They want the best of the best people. They want people who come with 100% assurance. They are 100% honest. They do not have any wrongdoing on their record. We've been immune to look for such people, because we've been working on the BFSI sector for a very long time. So our internal SOPs are designed such that we find the best of the talent. We find the talent which comes with the experience that you need, and they comes with the softer skills that any position requires. Our entire selection process has, I've got our recruiters, the 400 odd recruiters that you're talking about. They've recruited thousands of people over their career. They've They've recruited hundreds and thousands of people over their career, and their experience itself speaks volumes when it comes to the quality of candidates that we provide.
Yeah, because I've literally, I've been in direct sales about 30 years, and I've recruited tens of thousands of people myself. And what I've found is, for the most part, recruiting the best people are not the people who are actually looking for a job. The best people actually already have a job, right? So do you do a lot of headhunting and or recruiting companies out of companies into new companies? And if you do it with my people, I'll shoot you.
We do that, John. So I'll tell you, and you are absolutely right that a good employee is never out of job. A good professional is never out of job. He always has something that he is engaged in, he's working on. And our headhunting techniques and is what helps us. What has helped us in in perpetuity, if I have to put that forward, John. Our referral network is what helps us, is what gives us the edge. Now, out of, let's say, the 40,000 people that we would have placed, we're still in touch with at least 15, 20,000 of them on a regular basis. And we know who of them are doing good with their current employers, who are the ones who are performers with their current employers. We kind of try and keep a touch base, if not more regularly, but at least once a quarter on, where our people call them and say, how are you doing? How is everything going? How is everything with your current employer? Now that relationship building helps us generate referrals. Now, if you are a good employee, you would always be surrounded, with good, with the people of the likes, around you. And when a referral comes from such individual, it always makes sure, that we find the right people for the right job, for the other employers.
Yeah, and birds of a feather flock together. I mean, if you start, you hire some shady people, you're going to get shady people referrals. So I 100% agree. The quality of the individuals and who they hang out with is the people that you want to recruit, retain. And I love that that's your edge, that you actually maintain the relationships with the people that you recruit and you put into employment, right? That gives you definitely a competitive edge to allow them to come back to you and to seek other opportunity. Does that happen a lot?
Not very often, but then yes, it does happen in a few instances.
It was amazing. The earlier conversation that you had with a medical company, and we'll keep it confidential, the name obviously. You recruited 1,500 people in 8 months for a medical company.
Yes.
How do you keep a talent pool on tap for companies like that who come in? Because a lot of people, they cannot just wait around for a job. What do you do to maintain a talent pool? As an example, I'm going to refer you a client after this. And Marion, she's literally has a multi-level marketing company and she needs hundreds of employees. Typically, how do you keep that pool? And then how soon does it take if she comes in here and says, look, Harry, I need 200 people. I need them in 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm. So there are two things to it. One is attraction of talent, and other is, when the talent is attracted, you give them the right experience for them to join a particular organization. Now, in this case, let's say, I get 8 weeks and I got 200 seats to fill. I've got 200 headcount to fill. The talent attraction, module works 24/7. We are continuously attracting the right talent. there is an engine that goes on, even while we are asleep. There is an engine that continues to reach out to people. Now there is social media in the play. There is AI-based algorithms in the play. There is various channels of recruitment. Could it be job portals in the play? There are job caravans. There are physical job caravans in the play. There are various marketing activities in the play. There are a lot of promos and activities that keep going on that continuously helps us attract the right talent. While we are attracting the right talent, there is always a steady pool that we are sitting on. So like I mentioned, number one, there is job portals. Number two, there is marketing activities. There is job caravans that we are talking about. There are various social media marketing initiatives that we are talking about. All of this gives us a sustainable talent pool. And what we do is we don't leave it there. Once we have the talent pool, we give them the right experience. Once they reach out to us, we give them the right experience. We handhold them. It is not about helping them find a job. It is helping them find a career. It is helping them build a career. It is us being their partners in finding a right employer for them. It is not just a transactional thing that we do that, hey, you're looking for a job. Here I have someone who's looking for an employee, and it ends there. It doesn't end there. For us, it is longer than that. We want to build sustainable relationship at both ends. So that candidate experience itself gives us an edge, and ensures that we find the right talent for the right employer in the least amount of time.
Yeah, and I've met some of your people, and they're top notch. So, what do you find that are the traits of the top talent based on your experience? I mean, you've done this for 10 years now. What are the quality traits that you look for in the top talent?
I think my number one spot will go to curiosity. People who are successful are curious. They always want to know something new. They always want to explore something new. They would pick your brains at every single available opportunity. They would want to brainstorm on what's next coming in. They would want to talk about AI. They would want to talk about how is the new technology going to help them in the future. So curiosity is one that I always look for, and if I find curiosity in an individual, I know that this is the person that I want to work with.
Right on. I agree. I always, I've literally coached hundreds of business owners and thousands of salespeople. And they always ask me, how do you know that I'm working with the right guy? And I said, when you're working with the right guy, because you don't have to tell them what to do. They come in early and they ask you questions. They pick your brain. You don't have to tell them what to do. They're always trying to figure out what to do next. They're asking questions. They automatically go the extra mile. You have the right guy based on how they show up. If they show up and they're not doing anything, or they're not asking you any questions, and they're not taking any initiative, well, you just hired a duck, right? And I'm not going to say something duck, but yeah, you definitely have to have, that quality, as far as I'm concerned, for me to consider you top talent. How do people get a hold of you and work with you? And what advice would you give them if they're coming into the Philippines to be successful right out the gate?
How can they get in touch with me? It's very simple. I have my contact details are out there. On my LinkedIn. People can find me. They can search Nezda Global, and they can look at our email ID. My email address is my first name last name @nezdaglobal.com. So I can be reached out anytime, except the 7 hours of sleep that I get. Apart from that, I am available anytime to talk. And to the second question that you asked, John, what is it that someone should know for them to come and be successful here? I think what's more important than anything else is the culture. I think someone knowing the culture of Philippines is important. You can't just come in and expect that things will happen in Philippines exactly the same way that it happens in their home country. Philippines is very different than India, is what I've realized, and I've come to appreciate that. I know that in Philippines is very different from United States. Filipinos are very different from people in the UK or British or from Australians. Philippines has its own unique culture. You need to understand that culture, you need to embrace that culture, and you need to adapt that culture. And once you do that, life becomes beautiful. You make some real good friends. You make some real good colleagues who become family. You get to, you can certainly run big businesses in Philippines because the talent here is top notch, and I can vouch for that, having been here for. So I would always say that knowing the culture is the key to be successful in the Philippines.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll put in the show notes his name, because I guarantee you cannot pronounce or remember how to spell his name. Hariom, who's named after a god, Khandelwal. Ladies and gentlemen, contact him if you want to have a successful organization in the Philippines, whether it's building it out here or supporting you in the United States, the UK, Australia, or around the world. He can take care of you. That's a wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to send a review about what you liked on this podcast or share it with somebody who would need it to definitely improve their business, building and scaling sales teams, do me a favor, like, share. It means a lot to me so that we can help others grow and live in abundance. That's a wrap, folks. Thanks for joining me today. And if you got value from this episode, do me a favor, like, subscribe, and refer a friend. And if you want even more value, go to thesalesmachine.com, click on resources, and there's tons of resources there to increase profits and drive performance in your business. Right on, come on.